Motherhood is a full body identity, death, and rebirth. And it is shocking. No one told me that, hey, babe, everything you are right now, well, there might not be space for it on the other side. They just said, congratulations. Add a baby in and your life will keep going.
People always say how hard it is. People say you don't sleep, and we all know that it's hard. I know that it's hard, but I wanted the really raw, break it open truth.
Hi, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Life Uncut. I'm Laura.
I'm scarred, and I'm Brittany.
We just had a really uncomfortable conversation around how much would we have to pay each other to go down on each other.
It's too hard knowing that you've got to work with the same person every day. Like, Laura, I don't know. You've brought this up a few times. Do you want me to go down on you?
No,
I don't get it.
It's not. I have not.
It's a recurring theme.
Do not. The person who brought this up first was you,
No.
Britt. It was you. It was you.
You look guilty. No, because it makes me feel sick. It's not something I would do.
Anyway, we're too close as friends, not in that way.
Are we going to answer what we said?
No, let's just move right along. Welcome back from holidays, everyone.
I did say that it would be at least 1-0 less for me to do it than for one of you guys.
Keisha's doing it for free, guys. She's doing
I'm
it for
not
50
doing it
bucks
for
an
free.
hour.
Keisha's doing it. No,
I got a mortgage.
Anyway, look, we are back from holidays. We took a week off. Sorry to come in very rogue. It was so nice. We've only taken 2 weeks off content, or maybe 2.5. Who's counting? 2 weeks.
Yeah, not much this year.
This entire year, and we've been there for you, supporting you, also supporting us by doing it. But also, yeah, look, we needed a break.
I also love you guys, but I got so many messages being like, can you guys come back already? And I thought, it's been 3 days. I was like, I don't think we've even released an episode normally. 3 days. And I was like, we just need 1 week. Give us a week.
Yeah, well, it was school holidays. The one thing, though, about school holidays is that when you're on holidays and your kids are also on holidays, the amount of time and energy you have to put into trying to come up with activities all day. Every day it was an activity day. And so I was telling you this yesterday, Britt, but one morning we woke up, we were doing clay art, we did puzzles, and then we went to bowling. That all happened before 11:30 a.m. in the morning. All of those things.
You peaked too soon.
Yeah.
But
I
you've
peaked
got
way
to
too
peak,
soon.
right? Do they just wake up at 7 and say, what are we doing? Let's crack on.
Well, okay, so the problem is we were down at the Ulladulla house, the one that we've been renovating, and we have no curtains at all.
Oh.
We haven't had curtains in that house since, we haven't had curtains in the house at all, ever.
You need blackout so that they still think it's midnight.
Well, and so we all wake up with sunrise, right? We wake up with sunrise. Some days that's really, really cute. Other days it sounds like this.
Let go! Let go! Let go! Let go! Let go! Let go!
Someone is ruining the serenity because they
Let go!
want
I don't know what you want. What do you want? I can't hear you.
What do you want to
Let go!
Oh my God.
Yeah, so this is, to give context to that was 5 a.m. in the morning.
Is she saying let's go?
No, she's saying Lego. You would think.
Let's
go!
Let's fucking go!
The first time I saw you play that on Instagram, I thought that's what she said. I thought she was in the bed going, let's go!
No.
Let's get the day started.
It was 5 a.m. in the morning, or maybe 5:30, middle of the week on a school holiday day, and she wanted Matt to go down to the car and get Lego out, and he wouldn't get out of bed and go get the Lego. She was screaming Lego, and then the two of them were in bed with us chanting Lego. Anyway, we've realized we need to get some curtains in that house.
Oh my God, you do, yeah.
Originally, we thought, it'd be so nice to wake up with a view, and now it's block it out, just anything to try and claw back an extra hour of sleep.
Sneak a little sedative in there as well, like blackout curtains and
Melatonin.
a sedative. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's legal.
I don't know how I feel about melatonin. Everyone talks about it and how they give their kids melatonin gummies and stuff to help them sleep more.
Yeah.
I'm not about it. I've never given it to our kids, and I just don't. I'll wake up and get screamed at about Lego.
I'm one of the few, and I know that other people experience this, so we've spoken about it in the Facebook group a little bit. I get really, really weird dreams, weird cooked dreams when I take melatonin.
Do you?
But I get cooked dreams anyway.
I know that it is meant to help kids sleep, and it's seemingly natural. I have not done research into it, guys. This is not a health podcast. Do not take any advice from me whatsoever.
Consult your physician.
And I know some mums who use it, and that's their sleep time gummies. But I also kind of am just it's weird to give my personal thoughts. I feel like it's a little bit weird to give your kids something that is in any way hormone changing or medicinal or anything else to help them sleep at nighttime if they're not actually having really massive problems with sleeping. Keisha's I disagree.
It would depend on how bad it was.
Well, look,
I feel the same as you. Salt Bay.
Brittany's just got whiskey on the dummy.
That's a trick they used to do.
Yeah, they also used to smack their kids with spoons. Talking about no curtains, something did actually happen to me. So our house, like if you're following, we've got the renovation page, so you might have seen. If you're not, don't worry about it, but I'll explain it to you. Basically, our upstairs bedroom has this like beautiful big glass window, which looks over the rock platform side of the beach.
Yeah,
right?
horrific views.
It's awful.
Terrible. I would hate it.
It's, to be fair, when we bought the house, it was deemed as uninhabitable, and the only redeeming feature of that house was the fact that it had that window in it. Like the rest of it was just, it had snakes, it had white ants, it stunk, but it had this amazing window which we kept. So, like I said, we've been contemplating whether or not we should get curtains, and I was like, no, it's like we can wake up early. There's so much privacy. You can't see in because the only thing. Well, you can see in. The only thing that you really see is the ocean. And then behind our house is this tiny little dirt track that leads down to the beach, right? And the only people who ever use it is like very rarely. You'll get like one random surfer every like
So basically, you've
several
got a
days.
private beach. You've got a private track and your private
live on a
house, your
yacht.
private beach. Cool. So, no, play on as you were. Sorry, Keisha.
Keep complaining about the curtains.
Just note I've got to wear a snow jacket in my house to cook my dinner. But please.
in your rental.
So I am, as you guys know, very heavily pregnant now. I have 9 weeks left. It's creeping up.
9 weeks.
9.5
Can you
weeks.
slow that down?
I know, 9.5 weeks.
Slow it down.
until-
Take some melatonin.
Go to sleep.
This is a very random fun fact. Do you know that kangaroos can pause pregnancies?
No.
It's called embryonic diapause.
Is it?
Yep. If times are bad, kangaroos can pause the pregnancy until things are better.
That's one of the, like, we do a lot of random animal facts here. It's probably one of the better ones I've ever heard, Keish. Thank you.
I'm going to double check it. So if you're hearing this, I have fact checked it. I remember learning about it in biology. But frankly, your pregnancy has seemingly gone very fast. And I don't think 9 weeks feels real.
It's 9.5 weeks, but it's always interesting to me when other people tell me that my pregnancy's gone fast because I would say I don't feel the same.
I'm like, we're not ready.
but
Sorry, that is correct. You don't have to fact checked it. They
Thank
pause
you.
pregnancies. Amazing.
wow, you're on the case, Britt. Thanks.
People say they don't learn anything here.
Does anyone say that?
No.
Okay, so look, back on track.
Sorry.
I am very pregnant now. My boobs are humongous. Actually, we were at the park recently and Marley was telling everyone that I have purple boobs now. And then she was asking me to show them because your nipples go darker when you're pregnant, right?
They're purple.
So I have really dark nipples. And yeah, Marley's like, Mum, show them. My mum's got purple boobs.
You're like, no, I'm not going to show you.
And she was telling an entire family. So anyway, I'm in the shower, purple boobs, fat labia, everything's just happening in this pregnancy. It's all gone downhill real quick. And I walk out, put my Nutella around me, and I walk out to look at the view, to look at the ocean, to just enjoy because it's so beautiful and we have no curtains. And I like opened my towel.
It's giving Hayman Island.
I opened my towel to dry myself off and I heard an audible scream from the beach goat track. And there was like a 20-year-old surfer who was looking up.
You also know it's a problem that he didn't hide to continue watching. He screamed.
No, I was looking out of the ocean, so my eye line was like horizon, and he's down there, pretty much in our garden. And I just heard this, ah! And he stopped.
That's because think of the angle too. Think of his eyeliner. It was straight to the fat labia. It was straight to the labia. He didn't even see a face. You were a faceless labia.
He's like, is that Laura Byrne?
I just don't know why.
Is that Laura Byrne's labia? I was looking for whales.
Why did you have to be naked to look for the whale?
I don't know.
It's liberating. I mean, you're talking to the person that did this in Hayman Island to every single family. So I get it. I feel you. There's no judgment.
It's so uncomfortable wearing clothes and being pregnant. So I was just enjoying a moment. But
That's so funny.
and then I hid.
Well, he's not using the goat track anymore, is he?
I hid behind the wall. And then I was like, can you see me? I peeked out. And this guy, you just can't escape because he just kept double taking. He was like, what the fuck was that?
It's not what he wanted. It's probably not what he wanted.
It was really humbling, to be honest. Yeah, because I don't think I've ever had that reaction before. Yeah, I think I just arrived at a point in pregnancy where I was like, okay,
Well, I think there's got to be something different.
this
Like,
is what we're dealing with.
every young guy is going to want to see a naked chick in the window in their like mansion over the water, like naked.
It's not a mansion, guys.
Everyone with their private
It was
yacht. what?
It
At
was,
the helicopter pad?
it was a dilapidated house. We renoed it.
Was he on the helipad? Did you ride the quad bike to the helipad? Did you get the flying fox down the cliff?
No, we
to
took
the
our
yacht?
we took our white horses there though.
Every young kid wants to see someone naked in the window. I just think it cuts off at like 3 months pregnant. I think like when they're 3 months pregnant and up, they
3
don't
months-
want it
3
anymore.
months, you're
4
good.
months, 5 months.
I reckon you can get to like end of second trimester and people are still like, oh yeah. Like, to be fair, I did have someone, this was a couple of weeks back now, someone was clearly, don't want to toot my own horn, was checking me out from behind.
She's still got it.
How do you
was checking me
know?
out.
Eyes in the back of your head.
No, they called something out the window.
Laura
and
goes,
it was when I was
feel it.
it was when I was all dressed up and then I turned around and they looked horrified. So
Because from behind, you have not changed.
I
Like
don't look
if you
pregnant.
saw your pregnancies, some people's pregnancies go round out the sides and some people grow out. You grow out. So like from behind, you can't see your belly.
anyway, look, the end of that story is we still don't have curtains. So if any
Get the
Daily Mail
curtains.
want to come down, you'll get a free shot.
If there's anything we've learned from this, for multiple reasons, you need to get curtains.
Yeah, we're going to do it. It's happening actually this week. So that's going to be an exciting update. Hold the phone. I'll tell you all about when the curtains arrive.
I love how
Can't
that's
wait.
the solution, where the other solution is that you don't have to sugar glider out your towel to the ocean.
yeah. Yeah.
You can just keep your towel on and put your clothes on.
Well, anyway, guys,
Or
how
get
was,
dressed.
how was your holiday? Update me, please.
Oh my, yours sounds so much, even with you got kids, yours sounds so much better than mine. Mine, I went up to the Gold Coast for a week to stay with Sherry and Jay and to move into my new house. So it's very exciting. If you follow me on Instagram, if you don't, go follow me. I posted that Ben and I took the next step in our relationship and we purchased it's a dream home.
Your
One day-
marital home.
Our marital home. Yeah, we purchased a home together, which is like, I don't know. Part of me feels like that's a bigger thing to do than get married. Because I feel like
Yeah, because marriage it can end really quickly if you want
totally.
it to.
Marriage, right? If you've got nothing, you can just divorce. But
Yeah.
then if you're married and you've got a house, there's more, to deal with and more to split, and like it gets more complicated. And I think that it's all of a sudden it's a commitment. Like it's a real joint finances. It's a big thing. So anyway, I felt like it was almost in a way bigger deal than getting married twice.
Yeah, for sure.
That's probably because your wedding was fake.
No, but I'm really married now too. So yeah, we bought a beautiful home up there that I'm so happy with, and it turned out well. It could have turned out bad, but we bought it on our wedding night. So like we had the wedding in Bali, and then it was like 3 a.m. We'd been frisky around. We'd had our margaritas and whatever else, and we were in bed, and then an email came through that was basically like, you need to put the offer in today, like right now. And so I just remember rolling over to bed and I was like, I don't know if now's the time to do it. Like we've just had some espresso martinis. So even though we were so exhausted and wanted to go to bed, we were a bit pinging and everything just felt like we were on the wedding high.
Really excited.
An endorphin high. And so I don't know if it's at that time, if it was a couple of days later, I don't know if we would have done it. But at that moment, I was like, yes, I fucking love you. I've got love hormones. I've got the endorphins. I've had the cocktails. Let's do it. So we
Let's
put the
get
offer
some
in.
debt.
Yeah, let's get into debt. So we put the offer in and we got it, which is it was really exciting. So now I feel like it's even more, like the wedding day is even a bigger thing for us because it was the day we went into, the next chapter of our life for 2 reasons. But I'm not moving up there now. I'm just going to rent it out for a while and hopefully one day it is the place that I'll end up. My sister Sherry's up there. So that was really, really exciting. And I got so much love from you guys. It's actually so nice to take everyone on a journey and, everyone that has followed along Life Uncut and my journey for so long, everyone was really so supportive and so happy. And it's so nice to feel like you have people that are rooting for you.
Can I just ask, are we a renovations podcast now? Because
think we
Keisha,
might be.
like all of us have entered a new phase of adulthood. And
Mm.
Keisha, you were posting about painting doors on your house. Like, what happened to us? Because 5 years ago, we were all hot messes.
Yeah,
I think, okay, sorry, I did share a story about flapping my vagina out in front of everyone.
Yeah,
I'm
we're still hot messes.
Yeah, I think I've accidentally taken some, like, how they say that you are an amalgamation of the people that you spend,
Yeah.
like the 5 people that you're closest to. I think I've accidentally
Turned into Delilah.
osmosis rage bait content from you, Laura, because Tobes and I bought our first place a couple of months ago. It's the first time I've ever owned a house before, and I moved out of home when I was 18. It was a huge deal for me. Like, I've been saving for this for literally my entire life, and put the deposit down, and then you got to wait the weeks for settlement and blah blah blah. And I do love to do DIY stuff, but the other thing is that I'm nearly 32. and I've lived in rentals for that entire time. So 14 years of cream walls that you're not allowed to change, that you're not allowed to hang a picture hook into. And it has just been, it's been the best feeling just being like,
Liberating.
I'm allowed to hang a photo on the wall and like I'm allowed to change a color of something that I don't like. And so I've been removing wallpaper and I've been painting the front doors and painting the rooms. And now I'm in that thing where if you know how when you start one thing, it makes it obvious how, for example, I painted one of the bedrooms and I did all the skirting boards. And then I was like, oh, now the skirting boards in the hallway look shit.
Yeah.
And now the skirting boards in the other room look shit.
Oh, the
and
DIY never ends.
It's a
just
flow-on effect,
Yes,
yeah.
and so now I'm painting the whole house.
I do. I went over to Keisha's a couple of days ago and it was the moment where we looked at each other and we were like, is this our life now? We were
Yeah.
just like sitting in her room staring at like paint samples on walls. They were
was
like,
like, "What do you
one
think of this
shade
one?"
different. She's like, what do you reckon? And I was like, I can't really tell the difference. She's like, I really need to decide. Couldn't tell. And I was like, is this our life now?
Yeah, I used to flick through the boys that I was talking to on Hinge and show you them, and now
Let's
it's like pick a different color.
It's all consuming for anyone who's ever done a renovation or any like DIY on a home. It literally, the amount of tile samples you accumulate, the paint samples you accumulate. Like, I don't know if anyone else felt like this, but I just constantly had decision paralysis. And I was so fatigued because there's so many choices and there's so much amazing stuff out there that I was like, what about this? What about this? I felt like I constantly had ping pong brain about the whole process.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm still on the excitement wave. It might die out soon.
It does.
Hyperfixations don't last very long with me.
That's like me and houseplants. They're all dead now, to be fair. But something that I also wanted to talk about that was big that happened on our holidays. Firstly, you guys might have seen on socials that we celebrated 100 million downloads, which is absolutely, utterly insane. And, you know, we mentioned it in the social video, but I think it's worth mentioning here because we're so grateful for you guys. And we're so lucky for the community that's been built.
100 million when you think about it. How big that is. Was it 5 times the population of Australia?
Like 3.5, but
3,
that's okay.
4?
Go 5. Go,
Well,
go off, Queen.
I'm hearing 10. I'm hearing 10. But it's so big and it's so easy, and we were guilty of it. It's so easy to brush over these huge milestones and not brush over them. I guess like you clock them, but sometimes you need to really sit in it and be like, this is actually insane.
I think it's something that we all do though, right? Like
Yeah.
it's not just something that we're guilty of.
No,
here
everyone
at Life
does it.
Uncut. Everyone does it. Like,
Yeah.
there's so many amazing things that happen in life that we are, you know, either that thing that you've always wanted, that you've always been working for and you've worked so hard to achieve it and then you get it. But because your sight is so already fixed on the next thing because you have this ambition and we're all kind of subscribed to hustle culture, you don't celebrate the milestones when they come. And then they're so quickly that they pass by and you're like, oh, okay, well that happened. Now I got to achieve the next thing.
And then all of a sudden you're 50.
And then there's nothing wrong with being 50. I'll be there.
No, I
sooner
mean
than
like,
you.
okay, let me rephrase that. All of a sudden 20 years has gone past. Like, you know, like
Yeah.
you don't stop and smell the roses.
And I think when you look back at accumulatively, like how amazing those like small milestone moments or big milestone moments are, it's so important to appreciate them. And like genuinely so much of that comes down to every single one of you who listens to an episode. We are deeply and forever grateful. And then also part of that is that we had our 6th birthday as well. So 6 years of Life Uncut. Pew, 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 in the world. I know it's funny that we're all joking about doing DIY renovations and everything, but to think about where we were when we started the pod, which was just you and me in a bedroom, Britt, with a baby.
And that rented studio that we bought, remember?
Oh no, we didn't
didn't
even
buy it.
buy it.
We rented it.
We rented a per hour studio where you hired it. The
And
audio,
it was like a tin shed.
the audio was so bad. Actually, we should put some old posts up
No,
from
we
it.
are not. Oh, post. Yeah, we're not putting the audio up.
I had to bring Marley into work and she was a newborn baby and she would sit in the bouncer underneath the table and we just got it done because we loved everything about being able to create this podcast.
Do you know what I will say? I loved it at the time. I'm not proud of it now. When you say let's put some
Your hair?
photos up from that time, it was my beret era. I loved a beret. And I've got the first photo that popped to mind when you're like, let's put some photos up. There's a photo that we took in there and it's a selfie and I've got like a denim skirt on and a white shirt and I had this brown corduroy beret and I loved it. So I wore it in our like proper official photos.
It was our first ever, like, you know, the thumbnail for your podcast. Britt's wearing a beret.
Is it a beret? It's like the little, it looks like a beret, but it has the
No, it's
brim.
like an old man train cap. It's
Yes.
what my
like the
papa.
Brixton hat.
I loved it.
It's what my papa used to wear. He never would leave the house without it, but that's because he was balding. Britt, maybe the same reason for you at the time.
What? My double crown.
You'd gone through so many hairstyles. You also had jet black hair at the time as
Yeah,
well.
it was so dark because that's when I used to dye my hair myself with a pack of mix. It was just black. I
Look
just
at
dyed it black.
look at where we've come to.
So anyway,
That was the funniest thing about going back through the 100 million video, which Vanessa created, and it was utterly amazing. Like, so incredible. The funniest thing is that Laura looks, it could have been taken yesterday. Any of the videos could have been taken yesterday.
Yeah.
She looks so the same.
Who am I?
Britt looks like a different person in every single different clip. It was so funny to just watch the transition.
Ben was like, "Were you ever the same?" And I was like, "I've had a rough 10 years. Okay, I'm trying to find out who I am." But it was so cool to see, like how many. Let's call them crises. How many crises I went through in the 10 years?
That's also
6
why
years.
when it was your hens party, my vote was that we should have dressed up as a Britney era. So that
Funny.
everyone should have come as like one version of Brit because there's been so many to choose from.
I'll do that for my
40th.
30th. I'll do it for my 30th in a couple of years.
Well, look, something else that happened while we were on holidays, and I know the whole entire world is talking about it, and we don't want to get into the nitty-gritty of this because
It's been done.
the memes have come, they are still coming. Every podcast has unpacked it under the sun, and that is the Coldplay affair. We saw it, we followed the wave, and look, it was joyful for a while, and then it got kind of weird, and now we don't really know how we feel about it.
I absolutely loved it. I have loved being on the Coldplay journey the last couple of days. It feels like it's been months. It's literally hasn't even been a week, I think. But at this point now, we spoke this morning, I was like, I actually just feel really sorry for the family, like for the rest of them, that I can't imagine like probably the bullying and the things that the kids are getting, like that's horrible. But we cannot deny that the memes that came off the back of this are going to go down in history.
Also, I kind of loved, and you know, don't get me wrong, when I say at the same time I'm like, has it gone too far? I kind of love that a lot of brands have used it as like funny marketing advertising.
yeah.
So there's been like some jewelry brands who are like, some apologies are bigger than just sorry, you need diamonds. And then there's like a really like prestigious diamond brand who's then like, it goes from the picture of the two of them, the video, to like all these flashy sparkling diamonds. I'm like, brilliant that everyone has jumped on this. And it happens maybe once or twice a year that something goes so viral that it kind of transcends every version of whether it's like pop media, mainstream media, podcasting, like it takes over everything. And that is what this has done.
It galvanizes us, Laura.
It brings us together.
Where that triangulates us.
Yeah, I'm an NRL girl, and so many of the cameras, like the thing I love about
the
it is
Kiss Cam cameras
you see
now.
the Kiss Cam now, and it's just funny. And then there was one at Nikki Glazer's comedy show with Hamish Blake and Lisa Wilkinson. Like
Brilliant.
I love that side of it.
But also there's been a really interesting debate that's come up. And like I said, we won't get into it, but I would love to know everyone's thoughts around this. Like in terms of obviously the memes and everything are really funny. We know that there are real people at the bottom of this. And then obviously there's real families that are affected. The problem is you don't really hear from them. They've kind of just gone silent, removed their socials. So like they've removed themselves from it as much as possible. But real people have been hurt by this.
Yeah.
But I guess the thing is it comes into question this idea of public shaming. We love public shaming, especially when it is linked to cheating, because cheating normally goes unchecked. In our system of morale, in our system of like the legal system, cheating is that one thing that hurts so much, but there is no punitive punishment for it, right? Like that people can cheat and then they get away with the damage that they do. And so this is kind of one of those moments where people feel vindicated because everyone's been cheated on. Everyone knows how much that hurts. And so I think that we've really reveled in this idea of the payback to the big CEO boss who's now punished for having an affair.
I think it transcends that now. I don't think it's just about that. I think a lot of people don't even care about it. They're just using it as a comedy step up. Like that's what it's become. It's just become, like you said, marketing, PR, funny. People are laughing about it, enjoying about it. They're enjoying making content.
I
think a lot of
agree.
people forget what was at the core of it.
But the reason why it's gone so viral is because it pulls on that common heartstring that everyone has because it's so relatable. It is the most relatable moment. We even know in the times in this podcast when we've spoken about cheating, how either enraged it's made people when we've talked about cheating and forgiveness and coming back from, affairs. It has made some of our listeners, you guys, like absolutely fucking furious. And I understand that because a lot of those people have either been deeply hurt by affairs and haven't been able to come back from it. And that also is very valid and is probably,
it's okay. Yeah.
I would say majority is usually the end result of an affair or of cheating. But I think that it's the commonality. It's the fact that we can all relate to this this experience. And there's this like, haha, fuck you, you got caught moment in this that we think is really funny.
It's the Schadenfreude, you know, that word
Yeah.
where it's like you take joy in someone else's misery.
Yeah.
And Ness actually brought up a really good point yesterday where we were talking about it, I think everybody was. And she said that there was a particular element of this one because he is such a rich, powerful, wealthy man. that
Totally.
There's very much that kind of like, usually you guys get away with it. You know, usually you have so much power and so much money that you're never held accountable. It's kind of like eat the rich vibes.
I have
you
a
know?
question for you. Do you think, though, that something like this, like a public cheating scandal, should come with employment punishment or financial punishment? Because at the end of the day, what they did is morally wrong, yes. And also, in terms of within the workplace, for anyone who doesn't know, but I'm sure you do know the details, the woman involved was the manager of the HR department, and he is the CEO of quite a big company. So there is obviously an office conflict there. But do you think that something like this that happens in a public scale that creates so much en masse humiliation should also come with financial and employment punishment that it has? Because he's had to step down from being the CEO.
Yeah, and I want to say no, unless you have legal obligations within your workplace, which they may have had, that says you can't fraternize with somebody else at the work.
We've all
well, I mean,
read
that's
those
what-
in contracts before, haven't we?
But
No,
that's what they say.
fraternizing with the employees.
But that's what it is. And I think it's a lot bigger in America than it is here. Like, I think Americans are bigger on that, like, especially people that might be in power in the employment, like the CEO, that you may have to disclose if you are in a relationship with someone. Like, they might have their own internal legal documents that cover that, which is why they've stepped down. I don't think an affair necessarily should result. No, I don't. It's situational, but I don't think an affair, generally speaking, should result in people losing their jobs. They have to be seen to have been making a stance to protect their company and the shares and the people that have invested in that company because it is the number one thing talked about in the entire world.
I think more so than like a financial punishment, I think they've got to try and protect their brand management. That's why I think it's completely fine that these people are forced to step away. But something that I find I'm a little bit more curious about is whether you think that it shows the morals of the person.
Yeah,
And
I
whether
think-
that affects like business opportunity. Like, for example, let's say that I was coming to join Life Uncut as a business and I was about to be like a stakeholder in the business of Life Uncut, and you found out that I had been cheating on my partner. Do you think that shows what I would be like in the workplace? Like,
I don't think it necessarily does, but I think in this instance, and the reason why people have felt so strongly about it and the irony in it is that being that she is the head of HR, which is supposed to be obviously human resources, they're the people that are supposed to manage these sorts of internal affairs that happen and when there's drama, him being the CEO, the whole conversation around the imbalance of power. I think that's why this feels a lot murkier and it feels a lot worse than, say, if they were just general employees who had been having an affair.
Yeah.
I think that's why it's kind of had the magnitude that it has.
But I understand that he's the person in power here. But it does seem like she's getting away relatively unscathed in comparison. And obviously she's copped a lot of heat as well. I'm not saying she's unscathed, but if you're comparing the two, we definitely have a lot more disdain for the middle-aged white man in power in this situation as opposed to the woman. I don't know. I find that really interesting. But I do think the only reason it has blown up to the level it has, we see people cheated on all the time, like public figures, people on the regular. We see it constantly, but we don't really care about it. Like,
Well, we don't catch it in the act either, though.
No,
That's
but
the
even if you
difference.
do, lots of people do. Lots of people get caught in the act. But the difference with this was it was their reaction. That's what set it apart. And if they were shown on the screen for a couple of seconds and they were normal, nothing happened, and someone ended up recognizing them, the affair would have come out, but it wouldn't have done what it did. It's not that they had an affair. It was their reaction that then catapulted to where it was.
Yeah, just so everyone takes note, if you're ever going to have an affair
Play it cool.
and you get caught on Kiss Cam, just wave and smile. Just get
Smile
on
and wave,
just
boys.
smile and wave, literally. Well, look, we asked you guys the question on socials. How have you been Coldplayed? How did you find out that your partner at the time was cheating on you? And like we said, we know that cheating is evil and it's immoral. Is it something that should be legally punished or workplace punished? Who knows? That's for everyone else to have their opinions decide upon. We would love you guys to weigh in. You can do that on the socials. But here are some of the reasons that you guys found out you had been cheated on.
I'm going to kick off with one of the best. I walked in on my mum and boyfriend making out in the kitchen.
No, absolutely unsubscribe.
Yeah, could you
Unsubscribe
imagine?
from your.
Emancipate yourself. Is that what it is when
Yep.
Yeah, emancipate.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
You cut your parents off, divorce your parents, it is.
Yeah.
Your
Could you
mum and your
boyfriend?
boyfriend.
Yeah,
Imbalance of power.
I reckon I reckon that stuff happens more than you think.
No, that's awful. What a wretched mum you would have to be. Like
What's for dinner, Mum?
No, but like what an awful parent you would
Oh,
have to be.
totally.
To be so
You've got one job and it's not to like fuck your daughter's boyfriend and teach
if
them
you've got any-
trigonometry.
If you've got any natural loyalty, you'd think it would go to your kid.
Oh, that's so sad. Okay. Oh, I love this one because I felt like we had a part in this in a small, tiny way. A long time ago, we were having a conversation on this podcast about the website. Well, it's actually a Facebook page. It's called Sis, Is This Your Man?
Yeah.
And people out cheaters on there. You're not supposed to talk about it. I'll probably get blocked. Keisha already has been.
Got blocked. Yeah, we're blocked.
One of you guys wrote in and said, I found out from Sis, Is This Your Man? After you guys specifically spoke about the page on an episode, I went on there and then found my boyfriend at the time and other women talking about how he cheated on them. Isn't that awful? I know, but I'm glad.
Not
I
all
feel like,
heroes wear capes.
I feel like we were a little bit like the vigilantes in that to help that sort of move along.
Okay, this is a bit more tragic. My friend was cheating on her long-term boyfriend with a security guard at the pub that she worked at. One night, they both went for a drive and had a really bad car accident, and she broke her back in a few places. And that is how her partner found out she was cheating.
Oh, that's awful.
She's okay now as a follow-up.
What do you do though in that situation?
Yeah, because you're supposed to be there for your partner and look after them when they've had this tragic accident, but then also their
cheat on you?
side piece is literally there in the hospital with you.
All right, my ex-partner was kissing a girl in the background of some random's nightclub photos. It got circulated around until it finally came to me. So obviously someone had seen it on Instagram. They're just in the background by pure dumb luck. And that's how she's found out. Devastating.
I was with my partner for 7 years and then my doctor told me I had chlamydia.
That's not funny.
It's not funny. That actually happened to my...
Me.
No. That actually happened to my vagina. No. When I was with that psycho guy that had a double life, that happened to the other woman. She had been with him for like 6 years and found out she had chlamydia too.
Oh, that sucks.
That's really sad.
How about this one? I walked in on my boyfriend wanking over
was just
photos
about to
of my best friend.
Oh, this is a different one. I got that too, but not the best friend. I just walked in on him wanking over her.
Oh no, I
wonder if
walked in on him wanking over photos of my best friend. Long story short, my bestie at the time got pregnant, told me it was with one guy, and a year later I found out that it was my husband's baby. Well, he was my ex-husband because we split about a week and a half after the baby was conceived. He just never told me it was his at the time. Imagine your husband coming to you and saying, I think we have to split up, but not telling you it's because he has another baby on the way. And more than 9 months later, you find out that one of your best friends who's like illegitimate baby is actually your husband's.
Oh my God, she probably like went to the baby shower and
I just got
We should have,
goosebumps.
totally.
She's
Yeah.
probably the godmother.
Sorry. These are awful. These people are horrible.
His phone was on my Telstra account. While he was away, I could see that he was texting her 250 times a day.
That's like that guy's got issues.
This
Well,
one's
not even
grim.
issues. That's also dumb.
No,
Like
that,
you've
if you-
linked your phone account to your partner.
No, but if you're text messaging anyone 250 times a day, like that's some weird fixation, love bombing,
totally.
like something's going on there.
That's harassment. This one's pretty grim. We got emails to our joint email account registering him to dating apps.
Oh, that's sad. I found a box of used girls' G-strings hidden in his cupboard. He'd kept them as trophies.
That's weird.
Trophy.
He went overseas on a holiday, so I made a fake Tinder account and set my location there, and I found him active on holidays.
That's investigative work.
A text came up on his phone from Domino's. I love pizza, so I wanted to check what the deal. I wanted to check what the deal was. Obviously, I clicked into it. It was not from Domino's. A+ for creativity.
He tried to introduce me to his newborn. We were together 7 years at the time.
Oh my God.
I've got more. Someone I knew from work took a picture of him boarding a plane with another woman and said, "Is this your husband?" He had told me that he was going on a work trip.
Oh, that's devastating.
This one's a little like less savage. A Woolworths Everyday Rewards account. He scanned his card when he bought her food.
That's also the same as how the mushroom killer got found out because she scanned her rewards card and that's how they knew she bought all the mushrooms
Interesting.
and where she bought them from. Sorry.
Okay, I
really enjoyed that podcast.
I found his gratitude journal. The problem is he was detailing his gratitude about his double life.
Not only did I find out my boyfriend was cheating on me, I also found out that he was bisexual because I found dick pics in his email, followed by in-depth details around how they'd been sucking each other off. I confronted him about it in Bondi Westfields and he cried. Poor thing. That's awful. There's a lot going on in his life.
Okay, I've got one more. My partner went to their family holiday house in Jindabyne for a ski session. I saw that my ski pass was being used. So when I said to him, why is my ski pass being used? He said, I just missed you and wanted to use it. And she said, well, why is yours being used too?
So he
took his girlfriend there,
He took the extra.
like the other girl there, and then used his actual partner's gave her the ski pass to use.
which is linked to her credit card.
Well, yes, you got a you get notification.
If you have like a season pass, you can log the times it's scanned and that kind of thing. But when you're wearing ski gear, they can't really tell that you're someone different.
But that's such a stupid one because he could have said, "Oh, I gave it to a maid or anything." Why?
he panicked and
girlfriend?
said, I missed you, so I wanted to use it. She's like, cool, why are you using yours as well?
This one, okay. My boyfriend was a musician. He was on tour and he took a photo, a selfie reflection in the mirror, and there was a girl in his bed in the background. Oh dear.
This one's less savage, but I bought something on Marketplace. I went to pick it up and his car was parked in the driveway next door. What are the chances?
Oh, what are
You're just
the
trying to get a
chances?
secondhand bargain. You
Oh my
catch him in the
God.
act.
I feel like some of these, it's almost like there's a divine being out there that was like, you need to know this. And so we're going to lead you. We've given you all the signs. We've tried to show you in every other way. So here's the source. And the source is this one. It's when the husband of the wife, who your husband is having an affair with, rocks up at your house at 4:30 in the morning and bangs on the door. That's when you really know, well, actually, my husband's a piece of shit. To be fair, though, you know what? I was in such denial when I was in my bad relationship where there was lots of cheating that I literally found another woman's underwear in his bedroom and he managed to like lie
out of
around.
it.
He managed to lie around it and tell me that it was his other housemates and then somehow they must have thought it was his and brought it, you know what I mean? Like he managed to lie around it because he was the only one who had a girlfriend. The other ones were having casual flings. And so he was like, oh, well, there was girls' undies in the house. We just assumed they were yours. And so now they're in my room. And I was like, but how did my undies get in someone else's room? Like I didn't even think through the logistics of it. I just believed him.
Yeah, and I we were just saying before we started this record, like I'm mortified when I think of my younger self and how many flags were like literally whipping me in the face and I chose not to see them. But I think that's the problem. You choose to see what you want to see and you choose, if you are just so desperate to be in that relationship and for it to not be true,
It's
you
easy to be
convince
lied
yourself
to.
that you're
Yeah.
believing him or sorry, them, I should say, because women cheat too, but you convince yourself that you're believing them and everything that they say. And even though like your subconscious is saying to you, this is ludicrous, like you've seen the photos, you've seen them together, people have told you, your brain just says, I don't want that. I'm going to box that away and I'm going to believe what he said and continue on. And I would never do that now. And I cringe thinking about what I used to do.
Can I admit to you guys the craziest way I found out? To be fair, we weren't like exclusively dating, but we pretty much should have been. You know, we were at that point and I remember he went away and in an Instagram story, you know how you can tag a location? So he tagged a location. And I just had that gut feeling. I was like, this guy's sus, like something weird's going on. His communication's been really withdrawn since he's been away. And I clicked on the location. And you know how in the stories section of the location, you can see anyone else who's uploaded a story that's got a public profile in the last 24 hours? Well, there she was. Same location, tagged the same place. And I was like,
And he was like,
still
Keisha,
dating
we're
him
not,
for
he's
6
like,
months.
we're not dating.
We're
Back to what you were saying,
We're
Britt.
not actually boyfriend and girlfriend.
Like, really?
Yeah, but you weren't even together.
Oh, we were. It was to the point where I was like,
Semantics.
Yeah.
Keisha, did he
Yeah,
know who you?
logistics,
Did he know
Britt.
who you were?
Now, something we wanted to talk about, actually, we had this discussion before we even had our holiday. That's how long we've been sitting on this. It's a Substack that came up and written by a person named Mad Bad T. We'll link it in the show notes if you want to go and read it. But it is called What I Really Wish I Knew Before Motherhood. It covers quite a few things around the perception of motherhood, the realities of motherhood versus, I guess, the romanticized version that the writer had prior to actually becoming a mother themselves. The first one says this: first of all, your old self is dead. Motherhood is a full body identity, death, and rebirth. And it is shocking. No one told me that, hey, babe, everything you are right now, well, there might not be space for it on the other side. They just said, congratulations, add a baby in and your life will keep going. I mean, firstly, I disagree with this. I mean, I think that that's something that we had, and maybe it's just because we had them here on the pod. Like, we've had huge conversations around how your identity shifts in motherhood. I mean, God, we did a whole podcast series through Mamma Mia on it called Me After You, which was literally how your life changes through motherhood. It is an identity shift. But I guess when I read this, I was like, wow, her experience of that identity shift is so negative. And I think I've received a lot of, I guess, joy from speaking to other people and other mums who have found that that identity shift was a positive for them. But one of the really big things that we wanted to talk about is, and I know, Britt, it's something that we've spoken about quite a bit between us and also on the podcast. The big question we seem to kind of go between as women is, do you or don't you want to have children? You know, and that's one thing that you've raised quite a few times, is this like pendulum swing between, do I want kids? Do I not want kids? The thing and the question that's raised in this Substack, which I found so deeply interesting, is the question is more so around, do you want to have children with the person that you're actually with? And part of what is unpacked is that maybe the biggest and greatest defining factor as to whether a person actually truly enjoys motherhood or not doesn't so much come down to the experience of motherhood or the experience of children, but it comes down to who that person is that you choose to have children with.
I'll read you some of the things that she says quite early on. A few people did try to warn me. They'd ask, are you sure you want to do this with him? So not, are you sure you want to do this, but are you sure you want to do this with him? But because I had such a fake, romanticized version of motherhood in my head, I didn't really understand what they were saying. I thought they were just being negative. I thought love would carry us through. Now I get it. What they were really saying is, this is going to break you open and you need to be with somebody who knows how to hold you when it does. I come from it from somebody that is on the fence, that isn't sure, and I haven't done it. I haven't experienced it. So I am this person. I am Mad Bad T. When I read this, I resonated so much with it. Choosing your partner, who is going to be your partner in life, who is going to be the father to your kids, is the most important thing when you're choosing to have a child. Do you agree with that statement?
Yeah, look, I feel incredibly deeply grateful and lucky that I am with Matt. And like, obviously I speak about him lots on the pod. Like, you guys, if you follow us, like, you know what he's
him.
like. I mean, he's got a podcast called Two Doting Dads. He is essentially a very doting dad. I wish I could say that I went into our relationship with like the absolute, I guess, conviction and certainty that I was like, yes, I'm choosing you because you're the best person for me. I got so fucking lucky because I just fumbled my way through all these shitty relationships. Some of them I would have, like, you know, I had very big and serious relationships before Matt. One or two of them, I would have said yes if they'd asked me to marry them. It was so toxic. It was so bad. But I think I thought that if we got to the stage of being married, that it would show that they'd had commitment for me and that then we'd be on a good trajectory. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think I did exactly that. I didn't romanticize the motherhood part because motherhood was never something that was essential to me, but I romanticized the relationship. And I always was able to excuse bad behavior because we were on this journey towards getting good and being like a better version of ourselves. We were always like a version that I could fix if we could just get here, but we were never there yet, if that makes sense. And then I started dating Matt and it was just always good and it was just always easy. And then we had kids and he's an incredible dad and he shows parity in every way. And one of the things I think about often is like, imagine if I had fucking procreated with one of those men who I thought I wanted to marry prior and how hard my life would be. Because truly and deeply, I think one of the greatest enjoyments I get out of motherhood is doing it as a team with Matt. And I think that if I was doing it on my own, I would find it a hell of a lot harder. Like, I have so much respect for single mums. I was raised by a single mum, and that is not something that a lot of people go into motherhood expecting that they're going to endure. And then they reach that destination and their partner hasn't stepped up to the plate in the way that they hoped. And their experience of motherhood is really challenging.
Well, there is another paragraph that she says, my tip, do not have a baby for a man. Do not believe a man when he says he'll be there for you and it will be 50-50. It is never 50-50 when it comes to motherhood. I am no pro at this. It is just the sad reality. Only have a baby if you want to be a mother. You could and are happy to do it alone, and financially you are independent and secure. That for me is a paragraph that makes me deeply uncomfortable and makes me really think twice. Oh, not twice. I think 100 times. You know, I think twice about it every day. This is the thing that really makes me check myself, because I think what a lot of people don't realize is you do have to be okay with being a single parent because we know the divorce rate is so high. We know that if couples do split up, the man, generally speaking, has weekend visitations, has them like 25%. It is. You can argue the point that some men have them full time, of course.
Not
That is
full-time.
that is not normal.
Not full time, but I think that increasingly now people have 50-50 share of parenthood.
I would disagree. Not one split family that I know has 50-50, and that's because kids need stability. It's a choice that parents make because most of the time when they're at school, they need to have the same environment, the same routine, the same household, and that's usually why one parent takes them on a weekend. Like, it's not because one parent's saying I want them more. It comes down to what's best for the child. It's pretty unusual to find 50-50 where you're splitting a child midway through a school week. But I think that that's something that we don't really think about. We fall in love with somebody and we want to make mini-me's and we love the idea of being this beautiful united family. And if you've married someone, chances are it's because you think that they are this incredible person that you want to spend your life with. And I hope that that does happen. Realistically, there are a lot of divorces. And I guess this is the part that really hit home for me where she said you need to make sure when you're making that choice that you could be okay to do a lot of it on your own. That's a really scary thought that I think a lot of people might not consider.
See, I didn't interpret that as being on your own in terms of divorce. I interpreted that as carrying the load within your own marriage. And I think that that's something that we see is that there are a lot of parents and mums who carry the entire load. And I think that often, and I really don't want to stereotype this because I know that there are so many great dads out there. And like, I feel very genuinely lucky to be in a family where Matt is that. He's the version of a parent that carries an equal load. But I know also from a lot of my friends and also from people who are close to me that their partners really just haven't stepped up to the plate in the same way that they have to. Because as a mum, you don't get a choice. You have to step up to the plate in every single way. And the thing is like we know what weaponized incompetence is. We know that there is the mental load. Like there's so many conversations about these things. So I would say that when she's describing this, she's not just describing raising a kid on your own in terms of divorce. She's describing a situation where you are the one doing the majority of the parenting in something that you may have been led to believe was going to have parity. And it isn't always the case within every relationship.
Yeah, I think she's touching on both. I think she's talking literally and metaphorically.
But I think there were some things in this Substack, and like I said, we're going to link it so that you can read through all of it because there are some parts of it that I deeply agree with. And there are some parts of it where I do think that there has been this overcorrection. And I know, Britt, we have different opinions on this. I think there has been an overcorrection. I think that there is so much conversation around how hard motherhood is now online. And what was a surprise for me is how much I deeply enjoyed it. Because I think I was so mentally prepared for it to be really, really challenging. Like I really thought it was going to be the absolute pressure cooker in our relationship. I remember when I told Matt that I was pregnant, especially because we weren't planning the very first pregnancy, I was like so fearful of how his reaction was going to be and whether he was going to leave, whether he was going to be committed. Like I just didn't know how that was going to go down. And then I think for me, I had this genuine surprise by how fun and how much I enjoyed motherhood. All of the hard bits were absolutely true. And I was very lucky that I didn't have postpartum depression, but I was surprised by the joy that it brings. And I look back and maybe it's one of those things, who knows, maybe it's like, you know, how we're geared to only remember the good stuff and not the bad stuff.
100%.
Like every time I look back through my camera roll from when the kids are really little age and I see them doing something cute or something that I've captured, I'm like, oh my God, that age was so fun.
But you forget everything else.
And you forget the sleepless nights and you forget the pressure it puts on your relationship. But I do.
And then you get pregnant with your third.
And then you're having another one.
You
'cause
forget
you're like,
so much.
I just want to have another baby in the house. But don't get me wrong. I think going into this pregnancy, and I was saying it to Ness, our video editor, literally yesterday, it's the most neutral I've ever felt. Like I feel, and I don't want to say the least excited because sounds like an awful thing to say, but I feel the most realistic about it. And so that realism has kind of muted my level of like, oh my God, another baby. Because in my mind, I'm like, all right, I know that first year is going to be hard. I know we're not going to get a lot of sleep. I know I'm going to be tapped out again and touched out. I know it's going to put pressure on my relationship with Matt. I know that we're not going to have as much time for each other. There's not going to be as much intimacy. I know all of those little sacrifices. Some of them are big, some of them are micro, but I know what they are and I know that they're coming. So I have a very different feeling about this pregnancy.
Well, because you have a lived experience now. You know, number one, you've nothing. It's the most foreign thing you've ever done. It's like starting a brand new job in a brand new country with a person you don't know. I see it a different way, Laura. I am begging for people to tell me the truth. Like, I loved reading this article for how blunt and open and honest she was about it. And she does bookend it with, you know, but it is wonderful and it is the best thing. And she does say
She does the motherhood trope. It's shit, but it's great.
Well, I don't want anyone to think that this article is she's just shouting on the whole thing. She's not, but she is saying things that I have been begging people to tell me. And this is somebody, I scour the internet every day. There are accounts that I follow that are dedicated to deciding if you want kids. Like, there are psychology accounts that are like, these are the things you ask yourself. These are the things you write down. These are the things you discuss with your partner. Like, I am constantly on the lookout for this stuff. It consumes my entire thought process. If you look through the articles that Ben and I send each other constantly in like our WhatsApp, we are always sending each other articles on pregnancy, kids, life, partners. You know, we're thinking about it so thoroughly. And I was always begging for somebody to tell me the truth. I always ask my friends and family. And when I say tell me the truth, people always say how hard it is. People say you don't sleep. And we all know that it's hard. I know that it's hard. But I wanted the really raw, break it open truth. Like, I want the people to tell me, think of the worst thing you've ever done and it's worse than that. And I'm happy for them to, and I'm not saying that, but I just want real truth. And there are some people that have said, I'm obsessed with it. I love it. That's their truth and that is great. But I just felt like on the internet, I was being fed a lot of stuff that's like, oh, haven't slept again. But oh my God, look at his little smile. Like, it makes me, and I'm like, I just don't want to know that you didn't sleep. I want to know what that no sleep looks like. I want to know that it was for 8 hours of 10 you were awake. You know,
why do you want that?
Because I want to be armed with, you can't return it, you know? Like, I'm such a person I'm happy to move to another country tomorrow. It's okay, because if I don't like it, I can move back. For me, this is by far the biggest decision and most important decision I will ever make in my entire life. And like, I get so upset. Like, I've just never been more scared to make a decision. Like, I'm petrified and I'm running out of time.
Britt.
No, it's like, it's just like, it's a really real thing for me.
Yeah.
Like, I know, like, there was a part of this article that I was like, yeah, that's me. There are some people that want to be mums and dads so badly that they're okay to do it on their own. And that's amazing. But I know there's not one part of me that wants to do it on my own.
Yeah.
And I said to Ben, you know, a couple of nights ago, I said, if we break up, I don't want to do this on my own. And like, that's something that we need to think about. And he's like, why are we going to break up? We just got married. And I said, because
literally, yeah.
But it's like, I'm such a realistic person. And of course, I've married Ben for the rest of my life. That's what our intention is.
That's what everyone's intention is, right?
Of course, that's the whole point.
Yeah.
That is what everybody's intention is, that you have kids and a family and you get married to be with that person forever.
Yeah, of course.
But I'm so realistic and it's so ingrained in me that I know what the other side looks like. And on top of that, my situation's a bit different. Ben is foreign. I don't know if he's going to want to move back. You know, I don't know if I'm going to end up being a single mum. And he would never abandon his kids. I'm not saying that. But you just don't know the future when someone's whole life is in another country. And that kind of scares me because I don't want it enough to be on my own. It's also complicated because, and I understand people won't understand what I'm about to say, because as much as I've always talked about being on the fence, Ben and I have been trying for 2.5 years, like since we met, because I knew my fertility was not great. We've always said, you know what, like, we're not going to be upset if it happened. You know, we don't not want them. So we always thought, let's just let nature take its course. And if we fall, then amazing. We don't have to do IVF. And we've never been able to fall pregnant. And so I wonder, and I can't work it out in myself. I can't work out if my feelings are tied to that, are tied to
it's like a protection mechanism.
Yeah, I genuinely do not know. And that makes me even more confused and upset because I can't differentiate the feelings and what's causing the feelings.
Well, I think you've nailed it when you spoke about it on a past episode, when you're like, having IVF or going through IVF makes it a definitive date. Whereas there's something around the spontaneity of just like spontaneously getting pregnant, it's taken out of your control. But going, okay, I know that we want this so much that we are going to book IVF now. And it's a different take, because I would say that most people who book IVF, it's because they've tried every other option and they desperately want a baby. So I know that there will be people who listen to this who are like, no, I fucking tried everything and I wanted that so bad. And I did everything and I paid all the monies to be here. You know, that's one experience of this.
Yeah.
And then there is the other experience of like, I don't know, which means that then I'm now having to make big emotional decisions and also big financial decisions and big lifestyle decisions around something that I'm just not sure about. And I guess the thing is there is no Substack article. There is no conversation that you're going to have with any single person that's going to allow you to feel like yes or no is the right answer. Do you know what I mean? Because everyone's experience is different.
And you know where it gets confusing, and I know there'll be a lot of people listening that feel exactly the same way. And I remember Laura Henshaw spoke a lot about it when she was really confused as well. And I messaged her at the time saying just everything you've said is in my brain. Like I feel the same. And we sort of spoke about that a little bit. And I know there's so many women that feel the same. The problem is there are the people that say you need to want to be a parent because it's so hard, right? Like you need to want it. If you're unsure, don't do it. But that doesn't work because you're also unsure you don't want it. So it puts you in a really tricky place where I don't know if I can believe saying if you're not 100, if you're still on the fence, don't do it. I don't know if I believe that because if you're unsure that you don't want it, then 10, 15, 20 years could go past and imagine the feelings that you feel of regret and resentment and whatever other feelings are attached to that because you weren't decided either way. It's just like one of the most, I want to call it fertility purgatory. That's how I feel, and I know a lot of people feel like that they are stuck in this place and the pendulum is swinging and there is society and life and biology that is pressuring you one way.
Yeah.
You know, if I could fall pregnant, I would have had a baby by now because that's how long we've been trying for. So then it just adds so many different layers for me, and I guess that is what I need to try and dissect, and articles like this, and maybe that's why, you know, everyone that knows me knows I ask them in detail about their experience, everyone in my life. And that might be why, because all of these outside external factors are playing a part internally for me.
Can I just say though, coming back to this Substack, because I think that the answer in this woman's negative experience around motherhood lies in what is the most important point. And that is your partner makes or breaks the whole thing. And I do want to read this. I think that so many women will relate to this. The man you have a child with will either hold you through the storm or leave you drowning in it. I believed mine would show up. He told me that he would protect me. He promised to love me, safety, and stability. But here's what I've learned the hard way. Most men today are not providers. Most are not protectors. They are lost, addicted, and immature. And yet women still choose them because we are conditioned to fall in love with potential and with promises. But promises mean nothing in pregnancy. Only actions matter. And when the actions don't come, you are left pregnant and alone, or with a child and alone. Trying to survive postpartum without sleep, money, or emotional support, you are holding life and no one is holding you. Your partner's behavior before, during, and after pregnancy will shape your entire motherhood experience. I genuinely feel that this is such a huge factor in people's enjoyment of the motherhood experience that we don't talk about until your kid is 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 and you realize you're fucking resentful at your partner and you're angry and you're not enjoying where your life is at. If the red flags are there, really sit with yourself and have a conversation around, is this the person that I want to have a baby with? And I know that that is incredibly like holding a mirror up to yourself and really going to be so daunting for some people. But that is such a determining factor, because if you're going to go at it alone, then that's a bigger decision to make when it comes to parenting. You have to be okay with this idea that you're grappling with, Britt, where you say, you know, do I want to do it on my own?
Which is crazy. I don't want anyone to think
I
there's
know.
like problems in
Yeah,
our,
of
like there's
course.
not. It's just the consideration for, you know, the future.
Totally. But I think that those red flags are there. I do think that for a great deal of us, and I relate this back to the person I was before I got into a relationship with Matt, all of those red flags were there had I had a kid with any, you know, the 2 exes I have in mind. I would have done it on my own. They would have disappointed me because I was in love with the potential of what our relationships could have been and everything I saw us being in the future. But we were never that. And they were never, ever the types of people who were going to provide that as a parent or as a father. And then I look at the person that Matt has been: consistent, stable, kind, loving, enthusiastic about being a dad, so willing to make sacrifices to be a dad, so willing to deprioritize himself, going out with the boys, friendships, partying. Like he doesn't do, I mean, like, of course he still has friends, but like his friends go to the park with the kids. You know, he's not going to the pub with the kids or to the pub with the boys. Like there's so many sacrifices that we as mums make, that feeling like you have a partner that shows parity in those sacrifices absolutely makes you feel like you're a team. And I think that that is such a huge fucking factor in whether being a mum is an enjoyable thing or not. Because for so many people, not only are you a mum to your children, you're also a mum to your partner as well in some ways, because they're not carrying the load, whether it's mentally or actually physically within the household.
I think my take on this was that, and I have a lot of the same questions as you, Britt, minus the overseas question. I think the whole motherhood conversation for me has been like I've had a fear about whether I would become resentful, resentful of losing certain parts of myself, resentful of being in really bad depression waves. I know Sam Frost spoke on the podcast about that, and I really related to her saying like, I was so scared because I already had mental health issues and I didn't know what would happen. I didn't know if they would get so bad. And I've kind of had this, and I get emotional thinking about it too, because I'm like, I'm scared that I could resent the kid and be a shit parent because I'm so angry and I'm so depressed.
Yeah.
But this article really, like what you're saying, Laura, it's kind of like, maybe that's actually not what a lot of people feel. Maybe people feel resentment towards their partner for not showing up as a parent.
You know, the a number of conversations I have with people, and I want to be careful with this because I don't want any of my close network of friends to
Feel attacked,
Even
yeah.
Yeah. But I've had conversations with friends who are like, my life is easier when my partner goes away. If they go away on a work trip or they go away with the boys or whatever it looks like, parenting is easier. The ease of like bedtime and bath time, or the ease of getting the kids out of the house. I think that for some people, trying to co-parent doesn't feel like an easy thing. And I think more often than not, the resentment comes towards the partner and the relationship pressures. I don't really know many people who feel resentful towards their children. And maybe it's
relieving to hear.
Maybe it's a case of like, no one wants to speak negatively about their kids or about motherhood. But I genuinely don't know many people at all who would ever say that they regret motherhood. There's parts of it that they found really hard, but I do think the reason why it comes with the caveat of like, but I love being a mum is because yes, we complain about it, but like for the most part, people fucking love their kids and love being a mum. I know that's not the blanket rule for everyone, but I think
generally.
you'd be hard pressed to find someone who doesn't say that or doesn't feel that. It is time for our suck and our sweet, our highlights and lowlights of each and every week. My suck for the week is that I have raging sciatica at the moment. I got it really bad with Lola, kind of second trimester. So I do feel like I've gotten through pretty scot-free this. I had just said maybe about 2 weeks ago, I was like, this has been my easiest pregnancy ever, which kind of goes against all reason and logic. You would think by number 3, my whole body should be like, stop. But it's been great. And then all of a sudden the sciatica hit, and it's like, if you've never had it, it's just, my experience of it is the fucking most intense pain that shoots kind of from your lower spine straight down your ass cheek and into the back of your leg. There's nothing that I can do to get rid of it once it starts. I couldn't walk for a couple of nights there when we were down the coast. I had to get Matt to get me up and down off the couch, and it has been super, super painful. It's worse in the evenings, but I've gone to go and see a physio already, which is something I didn't do with my second trimester. With my second pregnancy, I didn't go at all or do anything to try and fix it. And it made a massive difference. And that came off the recommendation of someone who listens to the pod who was like, oh my God, my sciatica was so bad when I had my baby, and the only thing that fixed it was going to the physio.
So it's already fixed.
It's not fixed by any means, but it definitely helped a lot, like a lot. I went from not being able to walk of an evening to instantly feeling relief. And he basically just elbowed my ass for 25 minutes.
That's so
painful.
Yeah, but sometimes that's what you
kinda
need.
nice.
A little elbow at the butt.
Not in the butt, like just straight
yeah,
elbow
sure.
to the butt cheek. But
Yeah.
you do you, go off, queen. And my sweet for the week was just, I've already said it, but being on holidays with the girls, having a full week and a half just us being a family, having nowhere to be, nothing to do,
Flashing strangers.
flashing surfers, just living my free and most unfiltered life.
Best life.
Yeah, I had so much fun. And we were down at the house in Ulladulla for the whole time. When we came back up, Keisha asked the question, but what do you do down there? And the answer is nothing. We did absolutely nothing. And it was amazing. It was so nice. And like the kids they just have so much fun. And they can be filthy kids down there. They don't brush their hair. They just run around, be like
Ferals.
just be kids and be outside. And it's so good. And
Yeah.
I had the best time.
Do you think you kind of sucked in that one because you know it's probably the last like proper week you'll have before baby number 3 comes?
Well, this baby is due like just before school holidays, so the next school holidays. So that we will never have another school holidays without 3 kids.
I mean, there's a lot of things you could say that on. Like, we'll never do this again without 3 kids. But that's good timing.
Is it though?
Oh, is it? No, maybe it's not.
Well, I mean, it would have been nice if it was earlier and then I could have gotten more time off work and the holidays. But now I'm just compensating my holidays as maternity leave.
Yeah.
Like it's
okay.
comped.
Well, my suck, my sweet are the same thing in a way. My suck, so I went up to the Gold Coast to spend a week with Sherry and Jay, as I said before. What I didn't say was poor Maya, so she's 10 and a half months now, and she was just spent like 3 days back in the hospital. She's so sick. And a lot of you guys might remember when she was probably only like 4 months old, she was in the ICU and like nearly died basically over in Scotland. She got
Yeah.
really bad RSV and it was a really
So
crazy time.
scary.
It was really scary. And so because of that, it makes her not more prone to picking things up, but when she picks something up, it's way worse. So she's got like all this scarring on her lungs. Anyway, she got 3 viruses simultaneously, which the hospital was like, we haven't seen this in a baby, like 3 separate viruses. And she was so unwell. So the suck was that, we spent the week working around her and that she was so unwell. The sweet was I got to spend a week there still. So even though she was so sick, I'm just obsessed with her. And
A little bubble.
yeah, so we just spent the holiday wasn't what we thought it would be, that's what kids are, like that's
Yeah.
what happens. So we just spent the week basically at home and watching her. And there were a few nights that Sherry and Jay weren't there. I was just there myself because they were in the hospital with her. And so it was a good week and a bad week at the same time. She's out of the hospital now. She's on the mend and she's back smiling and happy. But man, it's stressful. And she's not even my kid.
Also, though, I mean, it's a good time to kind of do a warning for any parents with little kids out there. I don't know that she didn't have RSV this time, but RSV is absolutely rife at the moment. Like so rife. My obstetrician was saying that it's like the highest levels of RSV that they've ever had, that the hospitals and pediatric wards are filled with kids and babies that have RSV. So look, we're not a health podcast. We shouldn't be recommending stuff. But in terms of vaccinations and everything, if that's something that you're inclined to do, like especially if you're pregnant, you can go and get an RSV vaccine, and it could be the thing that stops your kid from having
100%.
as severe reaction as what they can do if they're not.
No, and we're not a health podcast, but I would still happily say go and get the RSV vaccine.
Yeah.
So the reason Maya was in the ICU and so sick is because Sheridan was due and booked in to get her RSV vaccine on the day that she went into labour. So Sherry went into labour 5 weeks early. So she was going to get the vaccine, which would have transferred to the baby, and that gives them the immunity they need. Not to not get it, but to not be in ICU with it.
Yeah.
And so Sherry went into labour that day, so she didn't get to get it. She birthed Maya in like 2 hours, and that is why Maya was so sick. So I 100% will be the person that says that would have gone a different way. The ICU doctors have said for sure she wouldn't have been in the ICU if you were able to get it.
Yeah,
So
but
yeah, 100%. Like if you can go and get it, get it.
And I'm sorry that such an exciting time was like, no.
Oh God,
yeah.
I don't care about like
such an exciting time was like laced by a really challenging family time as well.
no, that doesn't bother me at all. Like that doesn't take away from myself. I guess it's you're a parent, but I'm not a parent. But nothing else matters when you have like a child that is unwell like that.
Yeah,
so it's like
for sure.
it doesn't matter, but it was the reality of the break. Yeah.
Well, guys, that is it from us for this week. Actually, it's a lie. We'll be back with an episode on Friday and also an episode on Saturday,
we're
as we
here
do
all
every
week.
week. Just the end of us for today. If you love the episode, go and leave a review. You can listen on Spotify, leave a review there, or you can jump on Apple Podcasts. Also, all the episodes are up on YouTube. Go watch us in the flesh if you want to see us in a more 3D format.
It's so much more interactive.
It really is. It really is.
You see how much we talk with our hands?
You can laugh along in real life. And if you have any questions for Ask Uncut or anything, go just send them through Instagram, or you can join the discussion group on Life Uncut discussion group on Facebook as well. And you know the drill.
Tell your mum, tell your dad, tell your dog, tell your friends, and share the love because
We love love.